What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. Dang, I look orange. Hold up. Let me clean this mic off real quick. Or let me clean this camera off real quick. What's up, y'all? It's Fitz. Welcome to my live stream. You might be wondering why I am wearing a plastic bag. I'm going to let y'all know in a minute what's going on here. Before we get into it, I just want to say thank you for tuning in. Very important conversation tonight. I wanted to start off by saying, they say that, Black fathers are missing and the numbers back it up. All right. 64% of Black children live in single parent homes. Black adults are less likely to marry, 31% versus 58% of white adults. Non-resident Black fathers are often more involved than other groups, but absence is still high. So when we are there, we are more involved. So my question is, if Black men are some of the most involved fathers when present, why are so many missing from the home? Why are so many fathers missing from the home? All right. So we're going to break it down. If you want to come up, this is more of a little freestyle stream. So if you want to come up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link in the comment section. If you want to come up to this live stream and have a conversation about this topic, I've put the link in the stream. Join the convo. Link is in the stream. If you want to come up live, you can come up live. Click the link if you want to come up live. All right. So back to what I was saying before I get into it, though, and we discuss why so many Black fathers are missing. I want to let y'all know the reason I have this bag on is because you're sitting in on an episode where I'm also going to be giving myself a haircut at the same time. Now, I know some of y'all might be wondering, well, Fitz, why would you be giving yourself a haircut while you're live streaming? Why would you do that? And I'm going to tell you why. Because I'm a father, I'm a husband, I work full time, I have side businesses, I have a lot going on, right? I want to be able to spend time with my children. I've worked all day. I'm super busy, got off work, went straight back to work, and now I'm doing the live stream, but I still want to have time with my children, went to the gym, all that stuff, and I have a super important meeting tomorrow, and I want a haircut. So I don't have time to do all those things separately, so sometimes you can't make excuses. You just got to make it work. So I could have said, you know what, I'm not going to stream tonight, or I'm not going to go to the gym, or I'm not going to spend time with my kids, but sometimes you just have to go with the flow and do things in a way to where you can still make it happen. So I'm going to be giving myself a haircut while we do the stream. And we're going to make it happen. Let me set it up real quick. What is this? I got the Ion. I'm going to be using a 2-guard. We got the 2-guard. All right. 2-guard all the way open, 1/4 inch, 6 millimeters. All right. And it's not too loud either. It's not too loud. All right. So why are so many Black fathers missing from the home? One of the reasons is marriage decline, lower marriage and higher breakup rates after childbirth. So what we're seeing is there's a lot of fathers and I also want to say this before I get into it. This is not going to be a stream tonight about moms and about baby mamas and about how they be taking the kids and stuff. This is a stream tonight where we're holding the fathers accountable. We are holding the fathers accountable tonight on this stream. There could be another stream where we do something for the moms, for the mamas that be taking you to court and now you on child support and she this, she that. We going to have another stream a different day about that. But tonight we're talking about fathers, and we're holding fathers accountable. All right. So marriage decline. Men are not marrying the women that they're having children with. What are they doing? They hitting them up in the DMs, right? They hitting them up in the DMs. They playing games. Hey, you know, I blah blah blah. Then they getting the cookies. They eating cookies without milk. You feel me? They hitting raw, and then they getting the children. They getting the women pregnant, and the women have the children. And then there's I don't know if it's mine, or you know, you have the child, and then all of a sudden you don't like the woman no more. Here's a big issue, and this is going to be the key of what I talk about tonight. Many children are missing out on Black fathers because there is a lack of communication skills within the Black community when it comes to men. There is a lack of communication skills in the Black community when it comes to Black men, right? A lack of communication skills in the Black community when it comes to Black men. What do I mean by that? So we live in a society now when it comes to Black men where, like I said, you're jumping into bed with women that you don't know. They are getting pregnant, and then you are deciding that you don't like that woman after she has already given birth to your child. And one of the reasons why we see this happening is because you pretty much decide this is the best restaurant that you done ate at before you even eat at the restaurant. You done gave a Google review, aka you done had some foreplay. You done told your friends about this restaurant. You done put a little budget aside for the restaurant. And then what? When you go eat, aka have the baby, now all of a sudden, you don't like to eat there. You don't like the food there. Right? This is what's happening within the Black home. Men are having sex with women that they can't see being their wife. They get a little action. They get a little play. She get pregnant, have the baby, and they're leaving. And we have to break this misconception. We have to break this misconception that children are missing out on their father because they're in prison. A majority of fathers, a majority of absent fathers are free. They eating Chick-fil-A. They out eating Chick-fil-A, ordering Popeyes, getting high blood pressure, living their merry life, playing 2K. Right? When think of the image of the absent father. When you think of the absent father, you think of a drugged out criminal dude who is a no good nothing dude. But that's not the case with the majority of absent fathers. The majority of absent fathers are not in prison. Okay? They are not in prison. Incarceration plays a role, but the majority of absence comes from family breakdown, not prison bars. Do you think the stereotype of missing Black dads is accurate? Let me ask you that. Do you think that the story of missing Black dads is accurate? Because what we're always told is that these men are not in their children's life because they behind bars. That is not the case. And even the ones that are behind bars, a majority of them, from my understanding, are not there forever. They're not there to where they can never be in their kid's life. So we have to have a deeper conversation. It's the family breakdown. Okay. So we have marriage decline. We have economic strain as one of the reasons. And if you're just tuning in, I'm multitasking tonight. I got to give myself a haircut. Got a big meeting tomorrow. So during the stream, you're going to see me cutting my hair a little bit. So I got to make it all work. I want to be able to spend time with my kids before they go to bed, worked all day. And, you know, I got to make it happen. So we're going to do this. But yes, economic strain. That's another big reason why. We see a breakdown of the Black home is because of economic strains. Black men don't feel like they're worth anything if they're not making all this money. They don't feel like they're worth anything. And then on top of that, when there is job loss, if you haven't really vetted the person you're with, they're more likely to leave. They don't want to stick through the tough times. They want that bag you promised them, right? They want that bag you promised them. We got a comment. It says black people are naturally less monogamous. It's seen everywhere. Marriage to one woman is more of a European concept. All right, let's break that down, because there's a difference to me between being monogamous and being a deadbeat dad. If you out here slanging D, right? You out here slanging D. That don't mean you have to be a deadbeat dad, though. Let's say that you're not even with a woman. Okay, fine. Why are you still missing from your child's life? If it's just about you having multiple women, why does you having multiple women mean that you're not a part of your child's life? What I'm arguing for and what I'm saying is the most stable situation is for a man to be with the woman that he's having children with, be committed to that woman because she has the expectation that you're going to be committed. And when when you are multiplying and having children with different women, it only complicates the situation. So if you want to be monogamous, just don't have children, right? If you want to be, if you don't want to be monogamous, don't have children. Because if you are not monogamous and you know that this is going to break up your household and this child is going to grow up without a mother or a father, and they're more likely to be in an absent home, and you're not making the type of money to where you could support 2 or 3 families, just don't have children. Wrap it up. You ain't got to hit it raw. You ain't got to hit it raw. Wrap it on up. We got a comment. It says it's harder to be a father when you're not home with them or you don't have full custody. Plus, I've noticed that a lot of black fathers are very young and immature. Exactly. A lot of black fathers are very young and immature. And I wanted to have a deeper conversation about this. And this is why I actually did this stream, is because I'm married. Okay. I'm married. I have children, and I want to give y'all some tips. All right. I want to give y'all some tips. 1, you need to know the person that you're having sex with. You need to know them. You don't just need to know they got a nice booty. You don't need to know they got some nice tits. Okay, that's surface level. You need to know them. You need to know, like, what are you going to do with my children if I die? What do you believe in? What type of man are you? Are you a, we need to split the bills type of dude? Are you want me to stay home? Like, you need to know what type of man you are, and you need to communicate that to the woman as well. You need to know who you are as a man, and you need to communicate that with a woman. The worst thing you can do is go after a woman for sex and then try to build a relationship after you done slept with her and did all this other stuff. You need to be out here being intentional, because when you're out here just sleeping around, slanging D, and having babies with chicks, then all of a sudden you're in situations to where you done gave the D, she got pregnant. Maybe she nice during the pregnancy because she don't want to show up to the appointments alone. And now all of a sudden she has the baby, and that child support looking real nice. And she ain't got to put up with your ass because that child support looking real nice. And what's she going to do? She going to go take that child support because she doesn't know you and you don't know her. You just had a baby with somebody you don't know. So you need to make it very clear to yourself and to women what your intentions are. If you just want to sleep with this woman, make that clear. We got a comment, great comment. What's your opinion as to why this happens in the black community? So I was laying that out before. Why it happens in the black community? We have a couple reasons why: marriage decline, economic strain, and co-parenting conflict. Yes, this happens in other communities, but it's exacerbated in the black community because I think at the core of it, we lack proper communication skills. See, when you don't have proper communication skills and you're used to dealing with conflict in a more aggressive way, because let's be real, within the black community, aggression is promoted, right? It's not cool to de-escalate a situation. It's not cool. It's not cool to walk away. We gotta escalate. We gotta show people we're not pussy. We gotta do all this stuff. And so when you go into a relationship with that behavior, it doesn't work as well. And because there are not men to model how to properly speak to women, how to manage your emotions in a masculine way and still hold yourself at a high level when it comes to your ego and when it comes to you just being a respectful person, we're lacking that. So I think men just don't know how to communicate with other men or women when they get in a relationship. And then the communication breaks down and the relationship breaks down. So I think at the core of this, we have to work on how we communicate with each other. We have to work on how we process information. There's a book out there called Emotional Intelligence 2.0. I recommend everyone read it. Emotional Intelligence 2.0. If you don't want to buy the book, just go online and look up what emotional intelligence is and start studying how you can get better with your emotional intelligence. And one of the ways is reflecting and making sure that you understand yourself first, what your boundaries are, what your limits are, and stop going out there and trying to get other people to respect you before you've learned to respect yourself. Is toxic masculinity a big problem in the Black community? I don't think toxic masculinity is a big problem in the Black community because I don't think a lot of men in the Black community even know how to be masculine. I think that we're actually facing the opposite, which is an overpopulated feminine group of men. And I don't mean feminine like they won't fight you. I don't mean feminine like they weak. I mean feminine like they don't know how to control themselves and control their emotions. This is why you see this is why when you see crime in the Black community and you're like, he didn't even wear a mask. He just went in this place and robbed the place and shot this person in broad daylight without a mask. That's emotional. That's an emotional response. So we have a bunch of emotional men, not masculine men, because I'll tell you this, masculine is this. Like, I grew up with my father in the household. Masculine is being able to look somebody in the eyes, calm, and tell them what the consequences are going to be if they cross a certain boundary. And you're not over emotional. You're very stoic. You're very just like matter of fact. That's what a lot of Black men are missing, is a male figure that looks at you from the time you're born until you're a grown man and says, hey, Fitz, if you do that, I'm going to pop you in your goddamn mouth. And if you do it, you get popped in the mouth. Or if you do it, you face the consequences. A lot of Black men are not used to being held accountable by a man. And so as they grow up, and they get around other young men, it becomes this weird thing where you have to prove yourself. But if you have a father in your life from the beginning, you don't have to do that because you're used to men. You're used to a man being there and correcting you. And so when you understand that and you have a good role model, you're able to do that with your wife. You're able to do that with other people, and you're able to do it in a more controlled way. Because I'm telling you something right now. As much as people want to sit there and say, you gotta portray yourself as this tough guy and stuff like, there's nothing scarier. And if you have a father in your life, I bet you can vouch for this. There's nothing scarier than that look your dad gives you when you know you done fucked up. There's nothing scarier. Like, that look is worse than him putting hands on you. That look, that stare down. And what I'm trying to say with that is, a lot of times we're missing that. We're just missing the strong masculine behavior to where you know how to control it. And that's what I think is missing. So I don't think that there is a toxic masculinity problem. I think that there is a femininity problem where men don't know how to control themselves and they act more like women in men's bodies with all this power and testosterone, and they don't know how to use it. They don't know how to use it. They don't know how to use it. It's like, have you ever seen those kid cars those little cars that kids could buy that you get? Imagine a real engine being in that. That thing would be out of control. You'd be hitting people, driving down the road. That's what men are like when they grow up without fathers or without a strong male role model in their lives. and they don't go and do the work of trying to learn how to control their emotions and stuff like that, they're a kid car with a real car engine in it, and they just going and going and going, and pretty soon you're going to crash out if you don't get it under control. Great question. Great question. So I want to jump into the joys of marriage and fatherhood. I want to jump into the joys of marriage, fatherhood. For me, marriage created stability. Marriage creates stability. So when kids are growing up in a household where the parents are married and they're in a healthy relationship, the kids are healthier. There's less stress. Why? Because that woman doesn't have to go out and try to be a man, and that man has purpose. That man has something that he's working for that keeps him focused and gives him more purpose, right? So for me, I want to be that stable figure in my children's life. And so when children have both their parents in the household, it just creates more stability. It creates more stability. Also, I'll give an example. Like and subscribe. Be back later. Appreciate it. I'll give an example of stability, right? In my household, I have children. And one of the things that I notice is the way that my children respond to me and they respond to my wife. Now, I'm not saying one is worse, one is better, whatever the case is, but I do see the difference. And I can only imagine how different my children would be without me and without my wife. But one of the things that I think is very important, and one of the things that I stress, is that if you are going to lay down with a woman, you need to understand that if you have a child with her and you're not in that child's life, you are ruining somebody's life. You are ruining somebody's life, okay? And for me, fatherhood added purpose. What do I mean by that? When you wake up and you know that you have to go out there and get it for other people, you are moving with a certain drive. You are moving with a certain type of mentality about you. Now, I'm not saying that if you don't have kids, you know, you're lazy or you're not going to have purpose or whatever. I'm just saying that when I had children, I was always a hustler, always a grinder, always went out there and get it. But I definitely had a different sense of purpose when I had children, a different sense of purpose when I got married. Why? Because now it's not just about me. With me, I could go and get a little one bedroom and do what I do. But when I'm caring for other people, it adds a different type of purpose. If you're a father right now, if you're a father watching this on replay or in the chat, let me know what your proudest father moment has been so far. Let me know. I'm getting hair on myself on the back. But let me know what your proudest father moment has been. If you're a father on the replay or in the chat, let me know what your proudest father moment has been. My proudest father moment has been, I'll say it's when I get home from work after a long day and my children run and, you know, I'm coming in from the garage and I can hear them running to the door, Daddy, Daddy. That's a proud moment for me because they're waiting on me. They want to see me. I can hear them starting to scream when I'm coming up. That's a proud father moment for me. And men, there's nothing like that. If you're a father out there and you're not in your child's life, I'm telling you, when you get in their life, something changes in you. Something changes in you. So I want to talk about how to avoid being a deadbeat. All right. How to avoid this. I don't want to just talk about the problems. I want to give solutions. How to avoid being a deadbeat. Okay. Presence more than presence. Kids want your time, not your money. They want your time, not your money. All right. When I'm with my daughter at the park and we're just on the swing and that's free, those are valuable moments that she's going to cherish forever. Even if she doesn't remember them, they will be in her soul. They will be in her spirit. A lot of people get on me because up to this point, my children are all under 5. I don't really get my children gifts. I don't get them gifts. I don't get them gifts for their birthday. I don't get them gifts for Christmas. And one of the reasons why is because I want them to be at the age where they understand appreciation before I start giving them gifts. And I say that because I don't want my relationship with my children to be based off of money. I don't want it to be based off of what I can provide for them or buy for them. I don't want that anywhere in their mind. I want my relationship to be built off of respect. I want them to be it to be built off of, you know, knowing that I'm there for them, all of those great things, right? And so for me, being present is more important than the present. So, men, the takeaway from that is that your kids need your time more than your money. So, don't think just because you're paying child support to her and she's going and using that money for herself and not on the kids, but you're paying that means that you're being a great father, right? Because I'm not saying you're a deadbeat just because you're not in a relationship with the woman you had kids with, but you are a deadbeat if you are not present in your child's life, even if you're paying child support. Even if you're paying child support. Because I'm gonna tell you this right now: a lot of children don't even know that they're getting that the parents are getting child support for them, or they don't know how much, but they still feel that emptiness. They still feel that emptiness, right? That child still feels that emptiness. And when they grow up, they're not going to be like, oh, thank you for all the child support. Because let's be real, they're not seeing that money anyways. Let's be real. They're not seeing that money anyways. So your children need your presence more than your presence. They need your time more than your money. So if you don't make a lot of money, don't let that make you feel bad and make you feel like you're not a real father. Don't let a lack of money make you feel like you're not a real dad, because a lot of times you can do something for free that is actually more impactful than the things that you're going to be doing for money. All right, so don't do that. Also, next thing, how to not be a deadbeat dad: break the cycle. Don't repeat your father's mistake. If your dad wasn't in your life, break the cycle. Stop using the excuse of my dad wasn't in my life and blah, blah, blah. You're a grown man. Stop. You're a grown man now. Stop the BS. He wasn't in your life. Okay. That's something that you need to deal with and you need to work through privately or however you need to deal with it, but don't do that to somebody else. Break the cycle. You can do it. Next, accountability. All right. Step up even when it's hard. Step up even when it's hard. And unfortunately, a lot of y'all are going to have it hard. A lot of y'all are going to have it hard because you don't know the women that you put your thing in before you had a baby with her. So you have to learn who that woman is while she's pregnant. You have to learn who she is after she done given birth to your child and you don't know if it's your child yet and stuff like that, and all that's going through your mind. You trying to learn who this woman is after the fact. That's the wrong way. So accountability, step up even when it's hard. So what that means is the best thing you can do, the best way to be accountable is prevention. So step up even when it's hard. What do I mean? When that thing hard, step up. When that thing hard, step up and make sure you know the women that you put in that thing in before you put that thing in the woman. Because I'll say this, if you want to go sleep around, but make sure you're sleeping around with women that you know. Make sure you're sleeping around with women that you properly vetted to where you know this is going to be a decent person to you. Don't just go and sleep around and do that if you're going to sleep around. I'm not advocating for you to do that, but if you're going to do it, be accountable and understand that this person might be raising your child. This person might be raising your child. So that's important, right? Next, I really want to have a conversation about working through the baby mama drama situation. Stay child focused. Stay child focused. If you are working through the baby mama drama, stay child focused. And if you're in the stream and you want to come up and have a conversation about this, you can hit the link in the description, in the comment section. It's at the top. Should be. You can come on. You just have to have your camera on. Stay child focused. Okay. Stay child focused. When you stop being child focused, that's when the drama picks up. It's not going to be easy sometimes. You may want to attack her personally because of her behavior or whatever's going on, but you just got to remember to stay child focused because the conflict will damage the child. The conflict will damage the child. All right. The conflict will damage the child. So stay child focused. Next, you need to set healthy boundaries. Respect goes both ways. So if you're respecting your child's mother, even when she's not being as respectful as maybe you feel like she should, when you set those boundaries and you're respectful, you're more likely to get it back. But if you try to go tit for tat and be petty and stuff like that, that's where you're going to run into these issues. So set healthy boundaries. And guess what? You're more likely to get what you want. You're more likely to get the time you want with your children. And it's better to be a better, it's going to be a better situation all the way around. Co-parent. You need to co-parent instead of compete. It's not a competition when it comes to you and your child's mother, right? Co-parent. If she got a new man, just make sure the man's safe, but don't try to be out there threatening him. Don't try to do all this extra stuff and be petty. Just be respectful, bruh. Be respectful. We're talking about your time with your children. And if you are not respectful and you want to play that role, you're probably going to win a stupid prize. I'm just being real. It's probably not going to go as well as you think it's going to go. This haircut going pretty good. I'm not going to try to line myself up on camera. Then I'm going to mess myself up. But we almost through this stream. I appreciate y'all dealing with me trying to do this haircut and stuff while we on the stream. Let's see the hairline. Let's see the hairline. Okay. It's not too bad, right? Not too bad. Hairline not too bad. All right. So I want to finish this off and speak about being a leader as a man and leading your home. You have to model discipline, consistency, and love. All right. I want to talk about this from the lens of you plan to be in the house with the woman that you have a child with, whether you're cohabitating, you're married, you're in a relationship, whatever it is, you need to be a leader. And that doesn't just mean that you are a leader and you tell people what to do. You need to practice discipline. You need to look in the mirror and do what you need to do as a human being first so that you can lead others. A lot of men feel entitled to be a leader when you haven't done anything to be able to show you're a leader. You haven't done anything to show that you're disciplined. You haven't been consistent at anything. You haven't even held a job for a year or two, or you haven't done anything difficult or challenged yourself or stuck to whatever it is you're saying to. But because you got a woman now, you were told that you have dominion over her and you're just, ruling over her and she should follow you. You won't even follow you. So if you won't even follow you, then she's probably not going to follow you. So you have to get to a point in your life where you are modeling discipline, you are consistent, and you are showing love regardless of what she's doing. This is a lifestyle. It's not something you just do to command respect. You have to live it. So if you want to lead at home, you have to be a leader. You are not just automatically a leader. You have to be a leader. You have to be a leader. You don't just get to come in and be like, I'm a leader because you're a woman. You have to be a leader. So you have to hold yourself to a high standard and you have to be consistent. Next, lead community. You need to mentor, or you need to be doing something and spreading your gift with other people, whether it's at your job, whether it's in the community, whether it's people that you know. Why do I say that? Because when you have children, one of your roles is going to be to pass on the things that they need to know in order to be a good person, in order to be able to go out there and provide and take care of themselves one day. So you need to be able to lead a community. That's what your family is. It's a community. So if you want to be a leader, you have to lead yourself first. And then on top of that, you have to give the people that are following you a reason to follow you. What is your vision? Have you told this woman how much money you want to make? Have you given a plan for how you're going to get there? Have you shown that you're sticking to stuff and that you're consistent and that you're doing what you need to do? Or did you just show up and say, oh, I want to be a leader because I got a dick? Is that what's happening? Is that what your vision of leadership is? Because it's probably not going to work. Why? Because we live in a society now, especially in modern times, where many Black women are raised to be taught that, like they're taught they're gonna have to do it on their own anyways. So they're not expecting you to be around anyways. So if you come in with that type of mentality and you haven't earned anything and you haven't shown anything, it's probably gonna backfire. I'm just being real. It's probably gonna backfire. But just to recap the conversation, we're talking about problem, causes, solutions. At the end of the day, Black fatherhood is about presence and not perfection. We need to be leaders, lovers, and providers of legacy. I encourage you to subscribe, share the conversation. Real fatherhood, real husbandhood, that's a word, starts with you being a leader of yourself. It starts with you being a leader of yourself. For example, I'm here cutting my hair because I have a big meeting tomorrow. I want to spend time with my children after this live stream, and I can't do it all if I do them separately and try to squeeze it in. So I got to make it work. Why do I say that? Sometimes life shows up and it gets in the way of what you thought would be the case. And when you're not prepared and you're not working on yourself and you're not the man that you need to be, that's when you end up with the baby mama drama. That's when you end up in these situations where you're losing. All right. Don't be a loser. Don't be a loser. Find it in yourself to find the leadership that I know you're capable of. Find it in yourself to be a leader that's worth following, and you are going to put yourself in a much better position to win. But let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Appreciate y'all's time. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We're almost at 2,000 subs. Appreciate y'all, and I will see y'all next time.